Okay, so this reversal of this sale goes back to before the session started. As we mentioned, it's been going on for a couple years. Not the reversal, but the actual trying to sell it. But this reversal, though, wasn't soon enough for some. We're told members of JFAC took a tour of the old ITD building last fall. It was then, apparently, they decided the building, outdated, water damaged, all of that went with it, didn't seem that bad. So they started thinking of reapportioning money to try and put ITD back into that building instead of selling it. Senator Kevin Cook said on the Senate floor last week between 53 new employees over 5 years, keeping the Magic Valley office in Shoshone instead of moving it to Twin Falls, and by keeping the State Street building and paying the $30 million to refurbish it, well, that would ultimately save the state $110 million. Senator Cook said this, by the way, on March 28th, 10 days after the buyers had already signed the contract, which is where Senate Pro Tem says, Chuck Winder says he had a problem. ITD followed a process established by law and negotiated a deal by good faith, he says. And that's why he says this budget was a bad idea.
If anyone can show me where JFAC or any other committee has the right to, with intent language, override the laws of the state of Idaho, show me where. And somebody asked me, is this a hill you want to die on? This is a hill I want to die on if I have to.
Today,
I didn't die on it, but I'm bleeding from it, let's put it that way.
After a late Wednesday session to finally pass the budget,
No.
Senate Pro Tem Chuck Winder explains his no vote.
I've been very consistent with that.
For the Transportation Services Division,
By saying JFAC's job should only be to appropriate money.
And shouldn't be overturning 2 years planning and movement within the process of disposing of the property. People felt the JFAC was making a policy in their appropriation bill, which they didn't feel was appropriate, that they were going beyond their authority as a joint committee. Just felt like it was one of those things where it was just in the bottom of the ninth and it was too late to really cut it off. Now the other people felt like they didn't have an actual signed contract.
this one is from FJ Management Incorporated. The next page, which is the last page, is empty.
But the state still hasn't signed it and won't now because the legislature directed them to kill it.
Do you think the state's reputation is hurt?
I hope not, but I would guess it is to some extent. How broad? I don't know that it's a broad hurt.
Senator Winder believes the hurt might come from the precedent set by a committee overstepping its bounds when the state already gave an agency the authority to do its business.
Right.
And now the legislature, or at least the budgeting part of the legislature, saying we don't think that you did it properly.
Well, no, they haven't said that.
Right, yes.
They just got to the end of the sale and said, we don't think they got as much money as they should have. It isn't as good a deal as I thought it was going to be. The property was appraised at $38 million. They got $52 million for it.
Seems like a good deal.
Seems like a pretty good deal to me, but the choice was made. I mean, it was just by a few votes in the House. Over here was one vote different. So it's just kind of that tension, and it's a natural tension. The founders of our country wanted it that way, and so that's how it plays out. Sometimes it's sausage making, and sometimes it's you make a nice fillet.
Sometimes it's a burger. ITD budget is now with the governor for his consideration, as we mentioned. The Senate and House are both in recess. Should the governor veto this bill, then Senator Winder says they'll have some more work to do before they adjourn, sine die. If he signs it, that will officially kill this deal. And as you heard from Joe and the buyers, and Winder told us today, he believes the state will get sued.